What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be another YGOpro duel video in Ranked, and this time I'm going to be playing with the Domain Monarch build yet again. I'm going to be trying this deck again. Consistency problems have been on the rise for me in testing this deck, but ultimately I think that they can be powered through with, just tweaks in deck building or something like that, or maybe just moving completely over to the extra deck Monarch strategy is something that has to be done for this deck to move forward in the current format. Like I said, the format is only about a week old at this point, so whether or not this deck has any staying power in the format alongside the Cosmo or Blue Eyes decks, or even against Burning Abyss for that matter, is really yet to be seen. It has had some minor success on regional circuits from like the past weekend, but those have mainly been stuff like extra deck Monarchs from what I've been seeing. So that may just be the way forward, and that deck does have much less bricking capability. But like I said in the previous video, I feel like the Domain build is just stronger going forward, just because you do essentially win the game on your first turn if your opponent cannot out your Domain of the true Monarchs. But ultimately, I'm not going to waste any more of you guys' time since I explained enough about this deck in the previous video, and let's just jump into the game, shall we? Alright, so hopefully this time we actually don't just outright brick, and that way we can actually play the game. Okay, this hand is promising. Allure with 2 banished targets. I've got Majesty's Fiend in hand. So based off the draws that this Allure gives us, will actually dictate how this goes forward. Let's see, I've got a Rhoda, so that can get Idea, which then gets another copy of Eidos, so that just seems the most logical card to banish. But ultimately, this hand isn't the strongest, per se, but we're going to go ahead and Rhoda for Idea, and then use Gofu, as the tribute and leave the tokens. That way we preserve the Idea for the potential Monarch spell or trap that could be banished later in the game. But generating tokens here should give us some decent board presence in terms of protection to go along with this Majesty's Fiend. Oh, Effect Veiler. Interesting. Well, I'm pretty glad I didn't summon this Idea now, because that would have copped a Veiler, and that would have basically ended my turn. But as it stands, I guess I'll just normal summon this Majesty's Fiend and hope that my opponent doesn't have an out to it. But even if he does, I have another Majesty's Fiend alongside an Idea, and I can actually draw into more draw power off of my deck next turn in the form of Tenacity, which can search Pantheism, or just trade-ins, Allures, things like that. Well, actually, trade-in would kind of suck because I don't have a proper level 8 target for it. But trade-in's a one-of, so I have very few opportunities to draw a card. Normal summon Manju while it can't activate its effect while Majesty's Fiend is on the field. Good play! Surrendered. Okay, we're going to jump into a different game. Alright, so carrying on from that previous experience, a little bit of time has passed and I'm now joined by a couple of my family members in the room. So if you hear something that sounds oddly, suspiciously like a 2-year-old, it's because there's a 2-year-old in the room, which is my cousin. But, carrying on, alright, this hand is actually pretty alright in terms of what's going on. But this person's playing a 49 card main deck, so there is that is a bit suspect. Carrying on from that, let's see. I think Triple Tenacity is just the move here because I can just reveal the the Erebus, and I have Idea and all that, and I can get Domain, which means that I will lose the Veiler. This is an issue. Whether or not I lose the Veiler or not is the question here. But I'm going to save this Gofu. I'm just going to keep it in my hand for potential later play and see what actually happens going forward. Because I'm going to start with this Erebus. I'm going to put him under Domain. I'm going to search Aether off of Return. And I'm going to get the Pantheism back. But ultimately... Yeah, Domain is what we want. We just want to try and win the game turn 1, right? Putting my opponent under Domain sounds like the right move, right? At least I think so. But so, Domain revealing Erebus, because we've already established that we have an Erebus in hand to our opponent. Yeah, overall, I'm kind of pleased with this. It's really hard for you to open really, really strong hands with this deck now because of the fact that those hits have happened. Yeah, so this, and Return. Return will search for Aether, and then this will take a card out of the hand, and then this will search for Aether. And then I get the Pantheism back. There's multiple different things that are good about this play, but I don't end with Stormforth, which is a slight problem. But I get to send this, and I get to send A duplicate copy of Domain is fine. Taking a card out of his hand is good there as well. And then I could set this just in case like it gets MSC'd or something. There's no real reason to keep it in hand. And in terms of what's in graveyard, I've got plenty of cards sitting here to be fuel for both Prime and Either. And I've got them under Domain. So all in all, I think the situation's actually pretty decent. Trying to win the game turn 1, as I've already said. Domain, locking my opponent out of an extra deck, seems pretty good. Now, Goldsark, interesting. What is the deck going to be? It's 49 cards, so I'm already not taking it seriously. Necroface, alright. Well then. Did I just see a Stormforth go by? I did. No. And a Pot of Cupidity. Or Pot of Desires, rather. Alright. Well, he's gained back the card I took away from him from the Erebus, I guess, but if he's playing any deck that requires an extra deck, oh my god, green Maju Deiza. Well, I guess it's a good thing that I have this Either in my hand. Otherwise, I would be a little bit annoyed, but as it stands, not annoyed at all, because this is fine. This is 100% fine. We'll banish Tenacity, because that just seems like a card that could immediately come back to my hand off of the stuff. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and actually activate Prime as well, so I can distribute both it and the Eidos, and keep the Erebus on board. So I'm going to just normal summon it. I'm going to tribute both of these. And then, so this will go Chain Link 1, that will go Chain Link 2. So I'll be able to search for... I don't really think I want to search for Majesty's Fiend, or do I? I could search for Erebus, but I could already just tribute over this Erebus. So yeah, I'll search for a Majesty's Fiend, honestly. That seems like the better move, because I can drop this and then drop Majesty's Fiend next turn, and basically just seal the deal here. But so that will send Prime, and we will send another return, and we will summon a Karaz out of the deck, and then the Karaz is going to pop itself and the green Maju Deiza, because I'm not dealing with that nonsense. Not dealing with that that nonsense. That thing had like 64. What was that? 6,400? Like, that was unnecessary big. Goldsark, what, for another Necroface? Yeah, man. All right. Whatever floats your boat, whatever goats your float. That is an Exodia. Wow, this deck is just not real. This deck is garbage. This deck is terrible. Alright, well, he hit my third Domain, which is fine. I don't think Domain hurts him in any way. All it does is help me. 2 of my Erebuses are banished, and the one that is left is on the board. But none of my Eidoses are banished. So there is that. I get this Upstart, which... Oh my goodness. Why are you being that extra loud? Little girl. Alright. I was fine with everything you were doing beforehand. But carrying on. Carrying on with this, I get to go either... I think I just win this game this turn, don't I? I'm pretty sure I do, because I get to Caius this. And then everything else is pretty good in terms of what I'm able to do. Because this gives me an additional normal, so I get to tribute someone twice, so I get to go into Majesty's Fiend. So if he's playing anything like Swift Scarecrow, then that's not a factor. He's playing a literal, like, Necroface Exodia deck. Ew. Remove from play Exodia. That's going to be a weird video title. Extremely weird. In fact, I believe you'll find. But we're going to tribute this first, because I don't care about banishing 2 cards, because there's literally only 1. And then this, I want to be able to add back a card first. So, I can add back Tenacity, which will get me a search for anything, or I could have added back Stormforth, but I don't think it actually matters. But we'll add here, we'll just add another Majesty's Fiend, because apparently the other Karaz got banished off of that Necroface, so that's something. Burying Mirror Force. Alrighty then. So we'll just normal summon this with our additional tribute summon that Eidos gives us. And now, if he has anything like Gores on our Swift Scarecrow, Battle Fader, Trag, none of those are outs, and this is just game on board. This is literally remove from play Exodia. Like, excuse me. That's going to be such a weird thumbnail to make, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it at all, and it's not real. It's not real at all, and it makes me feel sad. Lost connection. Yes, you're correct. You're correct, you lost connection. Alright, well, I'm going to cut that one there, because I don't know how much longer we can keep this 2-year-old under control. So, anyway, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Links are in the description to my Facebook pages, Twitch links, backer music playlist links, all that nonsense. There are resources there for you to check out and use if that is something you want to do. But other than that, like the video if you like the content you see me producing. If you know some people that might like my channel, then I encourage you to share my videos around. Maybe encourage them to subscribe. If you want to support the channel, that's arguably the best way to do so at this current point in time, because it promotes growth and helps me get to bigger numbers. But other than that, I'm probably going to play yet more games with this deck, hopefully against real things. Like this matchup I just played was not real at all by any stretch of the imagination. So there is that. So I'll probably be revisiting this in the coming days, and then maybe moving on to extra deck Monarchs as well to see how valid they are potentially. But other than that, that is all for this video. As I've already said, thank you all for watching as usual, and as always, guys, take care.